What's up, guys? This is K-LO, and normally I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, but welcome back to another episode of Hot Topic. Today, I'm joined by Aden. Why don't you say what's up?
Yo.
It's been a full year since we last chatted about video games. You know, I had to use that one. That was
It
always a
has
given.
it's been a year. Oh
It,
my.
it has been a long year, but before we get into today's topic, we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys that like and subscribe to Game Sandwich, and if you're new here, consider doing the same and join our Discord. Links to that is all in the video description down below. But now we're starting off the year hot, so to speak. Hot to go. That's a song the youth like. And we're talking about Marvel Rivals, the new game that is hot off the press. And yeah, apparently people are saying there are problems with the first person mode. You wrote an article about this, so I'm going to pass it off to the Marvel Rivals expert here. Aiden, what's going on and why are people mad?
Well, for Marvel Rivals, the reason why people are mad about it is because specifically there's two reasons. One, people have proven that there are bots that join your lobby if you get on a losing streak.
That's
And
fair.
because, NetEase doesn't want to like hurt your ego too much.
I respect them for
And
that. I do that a lot.
and people are also angry that it has been proven, at least from one Reddit post. There's been actually a few Reddit posts, but there was one specifically where they compare it that certain characters are affected by your FPS.
Mm.
So, like your frames, if you're playing on PC, at least, are drastically affecting your characters. Specifically, we'll break down. Let's see. It's Doctor Strange. It is Venom, Wolverine, Magic, and Star-Lord. Those are the ones that are affected the most by it.
That's tough because I've been a very big proponent of I don't care about frame rates. I get that's a big thing for most people. Obviously, it's a difference maker here, but this is a big problem because while I have not dived into the world of Marvel Rivals, the big heroes I constantly see in clips and just promotional material are Wolverine, Doctor Strange, Venom. I honestly don't know who Magic is. Crucify me for that one. And
She's
Star-Lord.
part of the mutant. Geez, she's a mutant. She's the one that holds the sword and like can transform into a demon and shit.
I'm looking this up right now. Magic live on Magic. Oh, I haven't seen her, but she
She's
looks
in
cool.
the New Mutants.
Okay. She
So
looks
if
cool.
you've seen that, that's the only thing that she's ever been in as far as like movie wise, to my knowledge.
Huh.
So
Now, is this because in your article you're talking about like pay to win stuff? Is this more of if you have a better rig, you're just better there, or is this
yeah.
an actual gameplay?
So basically, people are saying that like there's a lot of people who are just calling it out for being like pay to win, but on like a grander scale, basically because it is the better your setup, the better you will perform in the game. Because certain characters, like for instance, Star Lord, he fires his guns faster and also reloads faster if you have a higher frame rate. So if you're playing at a standard 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, you're firing slower and reloading slower than you are if you're running the game at 120, 140 frames per second.
Hmm.
If you have a better rig, odds are you're outperforming people, depending on what character you're using. Now, there's also other instances too that of this. Like the other one that's damage based is Wolverine, where it's his slashes. Like he has like an auto claw attack where he keeps going like that, and you actually hit more often if you have a higher frame rate as well. So, therefore, you deal more damage.
Now, that's where it gets interesting to me because I have a decent PC. I don't think it's top of the line in any regard. But to see actual damage numbers are affected by this, I get hitboxes and stuff like that might be affected for frame rates, but actual overall damage to a move in the game, I can't recall something like this. And For a game that you compare it to Concord, obviously hero shooters and Overwatch clones there, this game has gone over pretty damn well amongst people. This is like the first thing, at least to my knowledge, that
Yeah.
people are complaining about, which is that a simple bug fix? Is that a simple like, hey, here's a 1.7 patch, here you go, everything's balanced again?
I mean, I don't know what they could do really to fix it. I don't know if it's as simple as, hey, here's a patch. I'm assuming that they could patch it to make it so that everyone's more on an even playing field. Really, ultimately, I would say if you're playing on console, make sure you turn crossplay off because then you won't have to worry about playing against PC players and them having a higher frame rate than you. Because console players aren't affected. All they all of them run at the same, basically the same frames, and at least at a frame rate that is so comparable that you don't have to worry about someone doing more damage than you or having an unfair advantage. I mean, other characters like for instance, Magic, she has a leap forward where like she dashes forward and then does an uppercut, and that right there, like you can do it 15 meters away and be able to hit someone if you're running the game at like 100, like over 120 FPS. But if you're at like the standard 30 frames per second, then that dash forward, you aren't able to hit somebody at the end of it if they're 15 meters away. You have to be closer. So you do have it also an unfair advantage there too with distance. And like one of them as well is Venom. Venom specifically runs faster if you have a higher frames per second. So like damage aside, you can also say that's unfair as well because you're getting a bigger speed boost out of it.
It's funny to me because like whenever we talk about pay to win in video games, it's normally tied to like loot boxes and stuff within the actual game, not your rig and like how your PC performs. Like I get there are instances in like Call of Duty where it's like, oh, like my load times are better, my reaction time, blah blah blah. That's fine. But for this game to be good and then problems with your PC, it's like, okay, that's something totally different. And pay to win, at least in my opinion, for this, as far as how everyone's viewing it, I, I wouldn't label it like that. I kind of would, but I wouldn't. I'm so torn because it's like my definition of pay to win is loot boxes, like you get this ability or whatever. It's not tied to your actual rig. Like again,
Yeah.
I'm not a person who values that stuff, so maybe my opinion on that is warped a little bit, but I don't know if you can speak to that any further as far as like frame rates and stuff because you own like the PS5 Pro, you have a PC, you have all the different ends of the spectrum here. Are frame rates like that valuable to you in this instance?
I mean, I've never cared about frame rates. I can't say that I have. Like, I do care to the point where things are running between 30 and 60 frames per second. There you go. I mean, after 60 frames per second, I can't perceive a difference.
I
I
can't to
mean,
begin with.
not a ton of people can because the human eye registers at 60 frames per second. At least that's what I've been told all the time.
There's some
So
information.
I don't really see a difference beyond 60 frames. So for me to care about frames, I mean, you have to go below 30 frames per second and it to be like laggy as shit.
It has to be really chugging along. Now,
Yeah.
as we've talked about how good this game has been doing, do you see this game taking a hit from this at all? Do you think this is like that substantial where it's like, oh, people are going to be turned off because we know how quick people are to turn on a game? And it's like, could this affect that overall momentum? Because they're going to be releasing new heroes and stuff, and I assume that adds to, and I'm going to use a gamer quote here, the meta of the game where it's like, oh, like, are people going to be hyped for these new heroes? And it's like, are people going to think, like, oh, like, I think you said in your article, Human Torch and Ultron might be affected too. Those are in the game, right? From what I understand.
No,
Oh, they're not in the game yet.
not yet.
Not yet.
Like there are future characters that could be affected.
Mm.
So I mean, I've heard people mention that Iron Man is affected because his projectile speed is affected. Like I've heard specifically if you're playing at a higher frame rate, like if you have a character that shoots off projectiles like Iron Man or Hawkeye or somebody, then you don't have as much of a fall off with your projectiles. So
Got it.
therefore, it's easier to hit and everything. But I don't know how true that is. That's just what I've been told. And so Ultron, who is supposed to have like abilities comparable to Iron Man, I'm assuming would be affected. Human Torch, I have no idea except for maybe throwing fireballs. He could be. I mean, Mr. Fantastic is also coming. Don't know if he'd get affected. But I mean, there's a whole list of characters that are supposed to be coming from like Blade and like Hitmonkey and Angela, like ton of them. So this could be a bigger issue later on. But for now, I don't see anyone leaving the game because of it, because it's mainly a PC issue. So if anything, maybe a slight fall off on PC players, but that's going to be minute in comparison.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially for a game like this. It's like constant content is what keeps this game alive. And if you're going to say the next 4 or 5 heroes, let's just say 2 out of the 4, half, there's problems. This issue comes up. That's a big problem. There are people looking forward to these heroes because it's like, oh, that might be my new main, or this is gonna be the new like top tier hero to use outside of like I think it was like Iron Fist and someone else that are like the top ones to use. It's like okay, like that's a problem because all right, that's your big player going forward. So I don't know, like this is the thing you run into as far as like doing the live service churn out. We're going to be doing more about this because some companies out there are just choosing to do the wrong thing. But as far as this goes with Marvel Rivals, this is the thing you live by. You ride the lightning, you might get burnt. I know that's not
Yeah.
the quote, but this is what happens. This is just the thing with live service games. You add in more heroes, you can add a risk as far as how they perform.
Yeah. And I mean, and the other main issue, like I said, that people are having as well is that NetEase apparently is purposefully adding bots
Mm.
to players' games, but only in quick play. So it's not like a competitive thing, thankfully. But that's the big issue that I think could affect the game because people don't like that playing against bots really. It's kind of unfair, gives them an unfair advantage and everything. And from what I read, there and what is has been going around in general is that if you lose 2 games in a row or 3 games in a row, you have a high likelihood of being put into a lobby with bots.
So
And
they're basically saying you
basically,
suck.
yeah, basically they're saying, "Oh, you're terrible," and then you have an entire lobby where your opponents are nothing but bots, and then you have like 2 bots on your team,
Yeah.
and that's it. And like I said, it's only apparently in quick play, but that one apparently has a lot of people pretty angry about it.
Call me stupid or I don't know, but I don't have a problem with that. And this is coming from a person who barely touches hero shooters. This that feature might actually help me get more involved in the game where it's like, okay, I know for a fact if I boot up Marvel Rivals right now, I'm not going to be at the top of the board. I'm going to be at the bottom. Like I've barely played this style of game. I barely know Overwatch and it's like that could help someone like me. And it's like, yeah, the classic gamer phrase, get good. The more you play it, the more you're probably going to get better. The more you pair up with bots. And I had this problem in Fortnite. I was playing over the break where it's like, I went on a 5-person kill streak and I was like that seemed a little too good where it's like, I know I play good, but come on. Like, I'm not doing all this stuff. So the bot thing there kicked in. I'm like, oh, is it really just kind of throwing me a bone here? But call me crazy. I don't mind the bots, especially if it's something like in quick play where you're like, hop in for a game or two, hop out, have a good time, move on.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with you personally on that because like I don't see an issue with the bots mainly because it's like I like you said, I know I'm not great at the game. I'm not great at hero shooters. I've played Overwatch. I know I'm terrible at it. I've played Marvel Rivals quite a few times. I enjoy it more than Overwatch, but I know I'm not good.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be someone who's like, "Oh, I know all the slang for it" or anything. I don't even know the types of characters really. I know there's like strategist or something for one of them, but like so for me, I'm never going to be like, "Oh, yes, these bots are such a big deal. Oh, thank you for throwing me a bone." You know? I'm gonna be happy about it. Like I'm just gonna be like, hey, look, I won a game. Yay, go me.
And that's the carrot you dangle in front of people like us. If you win a game or if you have a really good game, you're going to play another one, odds are. And then you're like, oh, you keep building wins. Suddenly, whatever season pass or whatever cosmetic they're pushing in the store, suddenly that might be an investment you make because it's like, oh, like I'm going to play this game more. I'm going to enjoy it. I want to look good while I play, or I want the new hero. You get what I'm saying here as far as like you dangle the carrot, someone's gonna bite. Like for every one or two of us, there's gonna be more where it's like, oh, we're gonna get hooked in this game and this is gonna be the new thing. My new thing as of late has been like 2 Point Hospital, where I'm playing like those type of sim games. And it's like, oh, I'm on the hook now for that game or something else. So yeah, like simple-minded people like us will get hooked, or at least like me. I'm not gonna speak for you. You're a smart gamer here.
I mean, I guess.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
hype us
I
up.
enjoy the occasional sim game too. Thank you.
See, look at us. We're just simming. I'm gonna create a big hospital. Maybe I'll stream it, and you'll
I,
see how bad I run things. I'm gonna jack up the prices of all the concessions. That's what I do.
yeah, I'm excited for Inzoi. You know,
See?
I hope it beats Sims. Thank you. But I mean, as far as things go, like with the bot thing, like there are people who are angry about it. There are people who are making posts about it. Like I saw one the other day that I was trying to find, but ultimately can't right now, where someone made a massive post just explaining, hey, this is how you know if you're in a bot lobby. This is when to expect if you're in a bot lobby and everything like that. And I'm just like, there are people who care about it to the degree, I'm sure, where they're going to want the authentic experience and they're going to want to make sure that all of the bots get removed. And you know what? And there are people who are advocating for it right now. They want the bots to be removed and they want to make it so that they are always facing other players. I personally don't care enough.
Yeah.
I'm just like, give me those bots.
It's also a thing too with anybody. No matter how good you are at a game, it's like how many back-to-back losses. Arguably, sometimes those things are brutal. Are you gonna take? Like I've been playing Black Ops 6. How many times am I gonna sit there in hardcore getting absolutely dog walked? And it's like, am I gonna sit here for 2 hours of my day, my time I'm investing into gaming, and just take loss after loss after loss? It does build character, but at the same time, I want to launch my controller halfway down the block because it's like I don't want to lose. I want to have a good time playing these games.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, you take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I don't care enough about it. I personally don't. I'm like you, if I'm losing like 20 games, please throw me a bone.
Yeah, just give me a win, sir. I need
Make
one.
me feel good. Make
Uh,
me feel good.
but that's what gaming. Not to get wholesome, but that's what gaming is. You want to have a good time, not actually want to like lose your mind. Even though
Exactly.
some people, that's what they want.
Yeah.
they want the grind. They want to be pro gamers, and that's not me. I'm just putting it out there.
Hey,
That's not
I
me.
mean, I lose my mind enough in FromSoft games. I'm good with losing my mind in shooters.
There you go. See, you need balance. You need that game. What is it? A palate
Yeah.
cleanser. Kind of stave off the bad vibes. But is there anything else here in closing we can dissect about Marvel Rivals, or did we pretty much debunk everything here?
No, I mean, that's everything that people have been talking about. I mean, if I can just end with anything, it'll just be like, you know what, people just be happy with the game you have.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, just be happy with it. It's better than Overwatch.
Better than Overwatch and better than Concord. Just kind of enjoy modern gaming for what it is, especially when things go good. It's like
Yeah.
doesn't happen that often. So enjoy it. Maybe that's us setting the bar too low, but I don't want to start the year off in a bad way where it's like, oh, everything's got to be
Yeah.
top tier. But
No, yeah. I mean, I want to start everything off good. So people, come on, just be happy.
good vibes all around, and that about does it here for this episode of Hot Topic. We hope you guys enjoyed. Just remember, if you want to talk more about video games, join our Discord. Links to that is all in the video description down below. Subscribe to Game Sandwich for more gaming content like this. And as of right now, I've been K-Lo, joined by Aden doing what I assume to be what is that? The squirrel?
Some sort of dance. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, sure. And we'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.